countries or civilization usually use what they have. There was a lot of silver in the Middle East, so they used silver. Like it was in the U.S., they had a lot of silver, so the original monetary system was based on silver. But then they started discovering gold, and all the gold miners said, no, we should use gold as the monetary base. So they changed. The U.S. dollar is probably starting to come to the end. Not this month, don't worry, not this month, but it was very strong for a long time. We haven't had a gold standard or metal standard for a long time. The history shows people periodically have tried metal standards or some metal-backed currencies. You know, the U.S. was founded on a currency that was backed by silver, and for 100 years or so, it was basically a silver-based economy. If you go to parts of the Middle East, they still have much more confidence in silver than they do in other metals. So this is not a new thing that the world has tried something, a real asset to back a currency. Maybe we will try again, but the problem with gold or silver-backed currencies is they're problems, and they never last because they're problems. The main problem is when things get tough, because gold causes discipline to politicians. Well, politicians don't like discipline, so they change the rules. And it's easy to change the rules, and that's why gold has never really been a successful long-term backer of currencies. Nothing has been. I'm sure we're all going to have digital currencies eventually. If you go to China now, you can't take a taxi with money. You have to use your phone, their phone money. You can't buy an ice cream in China with renminbi. You have to use your phone money. They're ahead of the rest of us. Everybody's working on it. I'm sure we're going to have digital money in the future. Central banks love it. It's cheaper. They don't have to print it or transport it or anything. And more important, they know everything you do. Antonio, they know. They're going to call you up one day and say, you've been drinking too much tea this month. Stop drinking so much tea, because they'll know everything you do. They love it. It's not good for you and me, but it's good for them. But it's coming. Will certainly come for a while. Then something else will change. But no, I certainly see government digital money in our future.
And how do you use that then? Again, I guess to repeat a question from earlier, how do I use that knowledge to my advantage? If it eventually is going to turn to digital currencies, what does that mean for a portfolio? What does that change for me?
Well, you might want to short the people who print paper money, but it's not going to have that much change on you. You're probably going to, at least, and many people, at least for a while, are going to think it makes their life better, because all they have to do is go on their phone and pay their bills or check their bank or whatever. Many people are going to find it wonderful. Then they're going to realize, oh my gosh, those people in the government know everything I'm doing, and they might not think it's so much fun after a while. But for in the beginning anyway, we're all going to think it's great.
No, it's
me, not me, but I'm not going to think it's great, because I know the consequences. The U.S. dollar is the world's major currency, the world's international medium of exchange, for many, many reasons. It has been for a few decades. It's probably coming to an end. Nothing has lasted more than 100, 150 years. We've had many international currencies throughout history, and the U.S. dollar is probably starting to come to the end. Not this month, don't worry, not this month, but it was very strong for a long time. I own a lot of U.S. dollars. I can see that it's going to have problems. I don't know what's going to compete with the U.S. dollar. I don't know what's going to replace the U.S. dollar. If you know, please don't announce it. Send me an email, because I want to buy it myself. And I don't see anything on the horizon. You would think that the Chinese renminbi would be the currency, but it's still a blocked currency, so you cannot have an international currency that's blocked. So I don't know what's going to compete with the dollar in the future. I look every day, I assure you. Well, but in the meantime, I do own U.S. dollars. They've been very strong for a while. I worry about that, but I'm not sure where I should put my money. I do have some renminbi. I do have a few other currencies, but I don't know the answer. Speaking of the U.S. market, the U.S. market's never had such a long up period, 14 years now. So historically, we must be coming to the end, but that doesn't mean it has to ever end. Maybe it'll go on another 14 years. In my view, there are signs that we're coming towards the end. I'm not selling short yet, but I can see, we have a lot of new people coming into the market. They call their friends and they say, I've discovered this new thing called the stock market, and you can make money. And it's easy. It's easy to make money. And everybody's very excited. Some stocks go up every day. I've seen all of this before. These are signs that we're getting towards the end. It's not the end yet, but we're getting there. There are lag effects just throughout history. Again, this is not an opinion, just look it up. And we are having a lag effect. But the U.S. has not raised, they've raised interest rates a lot from where they were, but historically, they're not up a lot. 5% is not a gigantic interest rate in the U.S. In 1970s, we had a big inflation problem. The interest rate on short-term treasury bills, government treasury bills, was 21%. That's not a typo. 21%. Interest rates now are 5 or 6%. I don't know how high they're going to go before this is over, but I know that we've printed staggering amounts of money. And by the way, in 1980, the U.S. was a creditor nation still. Now the U.S. is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. So I would suspect that before this is over, not in July, not this month, but before this is over, interest rates will be much higher. Markets go like this. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, but they don't go straight up or straight down. So what's happening now in the U.S., in my view, is just a normal market. Things are correcting, inflation's correcting. The Fed, they're not very smart people. They're all academics and bureaucrats. They think that they've solved that they did it, that they've solved the problem, and things are okay. But when inflation comes back, when we have a rise again, they will panic and raise interest rates again. These are bureaucrats and academics. These are not smart people. That's why they work for the government. I own uranium, and uranium is atomic energy. Nuclear power is certainly cheaper and more efficient than coal power, for instance, if you do it right. If you have an accident, you don't want to have nuclear energy. But as long as nuclear energy is handled properly and is safe, it's much cheaper, it's more efficient and everything else than coal or something else. The world's only had a couple of gigantic nuclear power accidents in the last 100 years. They were bad, they were disastrous, but 2 out of 50 years or so is not a bad record. I'm not suggesting you run out and build a nuclear power plant. I'm just saying that nuclear energy is efficient and cheap.